Hi there. So this is my final project, Project 3. I went with the virus theme as we all did. My title is COVID Positive Itty, a little play on words because I wanted to focus on the positive things that came out of COVID instead of the negative. So for my project, I deconstructed and reconstructed an old book that I had found at Value Village. It was a hardcover children's book. So as you can see here, the cover is still intact, although it's been covered with a scrapbook paper, as well as an oil-based enamel paint that was drizzled on both the front and the back of the book. So that's what it looks like on the back. The binding itself is a new binding, which is made from scrapbooking paper, which I folded over and hole punched and stitched through with yarn. And the image on the front cover is actually a photocopy that has been embellished with glitter glue. So for each of my pages, I used washi tape folded over as tabs because my pages are made of two parts. The first part is the under layer, which is the original pages from the book I deconstructed and painted. And then the overlay is clear acetate that I drew over top with a black Sharpie. So they're only connected by the washi tape, but the washi tape tabs also act as a place to grasp to turn the pages. So the first page is The Day Our World Changed. And the reason I chose that for this page is because I have March the 13th highlighted on the calendar. This was the last day of school before spring break closed, just before we found out that we were going to be shut down. My second page speaks to all of the challenges we've had this far with online learning, but also to the connections we were able to forge with our students, even though we were stretched across all sorts of distances. And then on the opposing page there, that is my virus, which will be traveling throughout my book. The virus is made from scrapbook paper, glitter glue, and it's also got some little spikes on it that are little pieces of embroidery thread. My third page is about being connected with nature. One of the positive things that came out of the COVID experience for me was spending time outdoors and sort of having more time for myself to think. There on the opposing page is the second COVID virus. Then we move on to creativity. I haven't made a lot of time for myself to be creative over the past couple of years. I've always put it on the back burner. So COVID actually gave me a chance to get out a lot of my art and craft supplies and start creating again. So that was something that I really was happy about, was a good positive experience from COVID. There on the opposing page is the virus. Then we come to the kindness of strangers. So one thing that kind of boosted me and made me feel not so lonely is to hear all of the good stories coming out of strangers, helping strangers, and just trying to take care of one another. And although I love spending time with my family, again, we definitely could have spent more time together. So COVID gave us that opportunity. We took out a lot of board games and just had fun together and reconnected in ways that we otherwise wouldn't have had the chance to. And then we come to mental health. So part of the distancing and isolation gave a lot of time for self-reflection and self-care. Again, something that I dedicated very little time to, but found that I felt a lot more confident and aware of myself and my feelings just from having this extra time to do self-care. And finally, what we have all been looking forward to, getting our first dose of the COVID vaccine. So medical advancements, that was a huge positive influence during COVID. And there's our virus, our ever-growing virus on the opposing page. And then the last page of my book has the largest virus, and it's opposing the back inside cover, which is covered with scrapbook paper.